to our Heart of a Hall of Famer segment featuring our 2022 Marauder Athletic Hall of Fame class. Joining me today is Hugh Powell. And Hugh, we're honored to have you, and we're even more excited to officially induct you into the Hall of Fame on October 7th during our homecoming celebration here at Central State. But first off, Hugh, when you got that call and you got that initial news that you were going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, what did that feel like?
Oh man, I was ecstatic. I know it's been a long time coming. The Hall of Fame is something that I started out not being focused on, just want to come out there, do my best, do good for the team. And guess what? That was just icing on the cake. So I'm honored and I'm exceptionally grateful for that selection.
And, you talk about, and we're here with Hugh Powell, 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, track and field star, right? Multiple All-American honors during the 90s and competing on those great teams. And we'll get into that a little later. But first, just talk about sort of your background, your upbringing, and what ultimately led you to choose Central State and come to Central State.
Well, I'm from Jamaica. Every Jamaican either run track or play soccer. So I went to high school, get into track and field. I was coached by the greatest of all time in Jamaica, Herbert McKinley. Went to Calabar High School, and we start getting our recognition when we normally go to the Penn Relays in Philadelphia in April. And I think that's where Josh Colbert, track and field coach back then, recognized us. He had a good rapport and relationship with our coach. And that's where everything started to come together. And we got recruited, and I came up to Central State in 1990. And that's when the journey all began.
And you talk about the great Calabar High School. I know you had a lot of teammates that came over from your high school in Jamaica to Central State in Ohio, and with the great Coach Colbert. So once you got here on campus, a lot of talent, right, including yourself. So for those of us that weren't there, right, just give us an idea of how great those track teams were during that era.
Oh, we were some of the greatest. When I came there were a few at least there, like there was Carolyn Sterling, there were Deanne Emmons, who later went on to win the Olympic gold in the 400-meter hurdle. She was there before us. So she actually she was there in Central State before we, and when we got there, Florida will came after us, but we opened the doors for those athletes to get recruited, because we start to set a certain standard that got coach more into wanting to bring more international athletes on the team. So that opened a lot of avenues for those guys and path for those guys to get recruited from Jamaica to come here to Central State. And that's where we started to build our team. And it just blossomed after that and got great. We went on to do some really, really great things after that.
And you talk about, incredible things as a team. You talk about Central State. A lot of people don't know, how good we were at track and field back in the 90s. But one of the top programs, not just in NAIA, one of the top programs around the country. I mean, you talk about going and competing and beating schools, that are D1, caliber schools, and sending folks on to the Olympics. You yourself winning multiple All-American honors, and of course, national titles, individual and team. Talk about that. Talk about the experience of winning those championships.
And that's true. First, though, in 1990, going on 91 was our first indoor season. And coming from Jamaica, we didn't run indoors. It's always outdoor. So it was just a big change for us to go indoor, running on boards and all that. So we have to gradually get ourselves acclimated to running indoors. And it took us a little while to adjust, but once we get the hang of it, when we went outdoors, it was no holds barred. We were great. My freshman year in I didn't do so. I think I finished fourth in the 400 meter. I didn't run the 200 meter that year. But after that, I started to place better. I started to win a lot of D meets and start to get the recognition. And it takes us up to 1993, and that's when the dam just broke. That's when we won both indoor and outdoor men's and women's a championship, and that catapults us to go go to the White House in the Rose Garden to meet Bill Clinton, call for HBCU school that got invited to the White House. That was an honor. The football team won that year, so we were just champions all over that year.
And that's right. And you heard it right. Hugh Powell, a Hall of Famer, talking about winning titles. And of course, Central State going to the White House during that great era of the 90s championship run. For you yourself as an individual, all these great moments you talked about, winning the championship, going to the White House, right? Was there a specific event or moment that sticks out for you, maybe still to this day as a student athlete?
Yeah, I remember when it was my last year when we went to Canada, British Columbia, and that was when I was bringing down the curtain on my career at Central State. I know I was going to graduate with honors that year. Already I was have a 3.2, 3.3 GPA after going through all that. So I know I was in line to get my degree. And that was just a great feeling, knowing that where I came from and where I was going after that. And that was all because of Central State, being a student athlete. And it's always a student first there. They always tell you got to go to class, do your work, and everything takes care of itself. And that's what I'm going to Central State for that great education. And it makes us a better man, but a better athlete and a better person. And that was the thing that stood out to me.
And we're sitting here talking with 2022 Hall of Fame class inductee Hugh Powell, mentioning not only a champion on the track, but it's all about being a champion in the classroom, and that leads to success down the road. Hugh, as we talk about you going into the Hall of Fame and getting that recognition, from the 90s, now we're in 2022. We received an influx of calls and congratulations from alumni, from your former teammates. Everyone's excited that you're going in this year. What does that mean to you?
It's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege, because most of those athletes that are around with, like the Floyds, the Prices, the Rodens, the Sterlings back then, they were motivation for us, because we couldn't do it without our coaches. Jahan was one of our coaches at the time, and they pushed us hard, and it paid off in the long run. So it's an honor to get the recognition from those guys. Go work hard to achieve the goal, and it paid off in the long run. So now I'm going to the Hall of Fame, and that's what it's all about.
And it's kind of a cool thing, right, to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, we're going to have student athletes and future generations come in, and they're going to look at the Hall of Fame, and they're going to see all these names. They're going to say, oh, Hugh Powell, what did he do? And they're going to be able to see those accomplishments. So for you become that model, right? And in this group of Hall of Fame inductees. So for you, really, what does it mean to be a model? I call it a model marauder. What does that mean to you?
It's a privilege. It's a privilege and honor to be the Marauder, because you know what? You only get to go in the Hall of Fame once. And if you're so lucky to be chosen, which I am, I'm just ecstatic. And I'm just overjoyed, because you know what? The standard was set by others before us. We took the baton, and now we're passing it on to future generations. So I'm honored and it's a privilege.
And you talk about the CSU standard of excellence during that time, and you know, we'll be excited to celebrate this excellence on October 7th. We'll be inducting Hugh Powell along with 6 other inductees and officially into our Marauder Athletic Hall of Fame. Hugh, I know you have some folks that, and you mentioned your former coaches previously earlier in the interview, but I know you have some folks that obviously helped you along the way and got you to where you are today. So I just want you to take time and have this stage and this platform to acknowledge those folks.
Definitely. Oh, one of my brothers, I call him my brother's best friend, Florida Will. He was an inspiration. He came 1 year after us. We went to the same high school. We're good friends there. We got closer when he came here because we had to show him the ropes when he got here because it was quite an adjustment for him. We trained together. We run the back rows together. Well, we did everything together, run on the same team. Dean Richards going in the Hall of Fame too. He was one of those guys, although he was a long jumper, we went to lift weights together. We run the back rows together. The ladies, Carolyn Sterling, Deanne Emmons, there's LaFane, there's Antoinette Jones. There's so many people, Anthony Price. We all created a bond, and it helped us to reach that level where we wanted to be by us pushing each other, motivating each other, working hard in and out the classroom and also on the track. So I just want to tell those guys, hey, kudos to you guys. Thanks for all the love y'all show back then, and thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you.
And you mentioned you're going in this year with a teammate. Dean Richards is going in this year along with a few others into the Hall of Fame. What does that mean to go in 2022 with a teammate?
And you know what? That's great because you know what? He was from my era. Some of those names that came up was before and after that I probably didn't met that I'll get to meet and congratulate them. But going with a teammate who you train with, blood, sweat, and tears, it's just great. It's great, and I'm so happy he's going into, and I'm just overjoyed. I'm just ecstatic. Honestly, I'm just ecstatic, and that's all love right there. The love for each and every inductee. So we're class of 2022. So that's an honor.
And we can't wait to celebrate in person this year. Homecoming is back all the way live as the theme this year. And we can't wait to celebrate our Hall of Fame inductees. That'll be Friday, October 7th, 1 p.m. You can find that event information on maraudersports.com. Hugh Powell, once again, 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, and we will be looking forward to celebrating you during homecoming week. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to your support as we move forward with Marauder Athletics.